Hi, welcome to BAI211 Managerial Decision Support Systems, which actually should be called Introduction to Business Analytics. My name is Cecilia Deschaines, Professor Deschaines, and I wanted to welcome you to our class for this fall 2023 semester. I want to give you a little walkthrough of what we're going to be doing and where to go and how to kind of follow along. I am very excited to teach you this course. There's more and more, um, I've had more and more opportunities to talk with people in industry recently about the value of this exact course and how it's structured. So I kind of retooled it a little over the summer, and we're going to be using Top Hat as a way for you to really engage and provide feedback. And let me just jump into that. We're going to have our primary location for our class on Brightspace, as you can imagine. Let me share that screen with you. So if you are in section one, this is your course homepage. And if you're in section two, this is your course homepage. In both cases, there is a course information. So up on the top, if we go to content, you'll see that there is a menu on the left. I think most of you probably are familiar with Brightspace. I want to just talk you through about the structure I set up. Besides the course information, which has everything you need to read through before the beginning of the semester. So in here, we have all the standard things you've probably seen before. There's a lot of information there. Other than that kind of administrative type information, I have the class Brightspace set up with weekly to-do lists. So that will be a place for you to be able to keep track of whatever it is needed to be done that week. And then I also have it broken down by the content needed for each exam. So all the material needed for exam one will be connected through the exam one module. And in here is where you can connect through to any assignments or optional work that you can work on. In addition to Brightspace, I'm going to be working in Top Hat. So I wanted to show you what Top Hat looks like. You should be getting an email. So look for that for signing up for the course. I know a lot of you are already using Top Hat for other courses. And just to be clear, there's only a single charge for the use of Top Hat, no matter how many classes are using it. But you do need to join my class with the join code, and that's in the email. So when you open up Top Hat, what you'll see is something that looks like this. It'll say no slides are being presented, and there's places where you can answer questions. Then the next tab over is where you see assigned. And in this assigned section, I have created a little discussion question where you can answer, tell us about you. I want to know about you. And then you hit this reply button to do that. You put in your reply and you hit post. And then for the syllabus, there is an syllabus embedded in here in Top Hat. And this is a place where you would, I want you to go through there. This is graded. You can get some easy points here. And I would like you to go through that to become familiar with the structure of how the course is set up. Okay? So what I want to encourage you is that this course has a lot of kind of building on stuff you already know from your BAI 210 course. So I think of BAI 210 as being this course where you learn a lot of concepts or how to do the calculations on paper, if you will, like And so what we're going to be doing now is translating that information that you learned into an actual assignment. So our course is going to be set up with a semester-long class project that involves a client. So we're going to take the role of being a consulting, a business analytics consulting company that has a client that comes to us with some business questions, some business needs, and has some data. So what we're going to do through the semester is go through the process that pretty much every single person I know goes through in the working world, which, well, okay, maybe not every single person, but most people, professionals in the business world will receive a question that they're supposed to be working on, and there'll be data, and then they have to convert that data into an answer. So we're going to do this specifically in a business analytics framework, which what that means is a little more statistics, a little more rigor. But the skills that you'll use will be the ones that will carry through even if you never do business analytics. I really think you will always be exposed to it and to some degree doing some part of it. A big portion of this will be done on Excel. So there's many different software languages that people use to do analytics. The one that is the most common for everyone in business is Excel, at least as a fundamental. After you know how to do things in Excel, you can start beginning to add things like Tableau or Power BI or Python. Basically that's the path for someone who's more seriously going down this road. But we need to all have a fundamental understanding of Excel. So in that syllabus that's available on Top Hat, I have some tutorials and some help, some things you can do if you feel like your Excel skills need more ramping up. The course is sort of Excel heavy at the beginning, and then and that's when we're doing a lot of this really sort of more basic statistics you learned in 210. And then as we move more into hypothesis testing and some predictive modeling with a technique called linear regression analysis, when we move into that, the Excel becomes more of a calculator and we're not as Excel heavy. So you can kind of think of it that way. It's Excel heavy up to the beginning, and then the Excel becomes not front and center as much, although we will be using it as our primary tool. So all that being said, I highly recommend you get not only a mouse. So I see a lot of people, I don't know if I can get it on the screen to look right. I see a lot of people trying to learn Excel without a mouse, and it's like running in the mud. Your life will be so much easier if you use a mouse for learning Excel. That helps a great deal. The other thing is I decided not to teach Excel in the classroom itself because a lot of people everybody's at a different level, and it ends up being very challenging to help the people who really need to slow down when there's people who know everything already because maybe they've been using it. We have some students who are working and have been working and yet know Excel like the back of their hand. So I've decided to move the Excel into an online format where I'm teaching you where you can stop the video, pause, rewind, or listen to it at double speed if you know that. Whatever you need to do to really learn the skills, but in order to really maximize the use of these videos, you need another monitor. And that monitor can be what you use as your, a lot of times all you need is an HDMI cable, and you can set up whatever you're using as your TV as your extra monitor. Monitors are not a super high ticket item. You can get one used. Probably Facebook Marketplace has a ton of them. Many places you can get one, but I highly recommend you have two monitors because what you're going to want to be able to do is watch a video. Almost always it's going to be me. There might be some other videos you also want to supplement with on one monitor while you're doing the work on your laptop or whatever it is. So you definitely need a laptop. I recommend a Windows operating system. I know a lot of you have Macs and we can work with Macs. It's just that Excel is a Microsoft product. And there is a market war going on in the background between um, Apple and Microsoft. So even though they claim to play nice with each other, they don't totally play nice with each other. Microsoft's goal is that when you use Excel on a Mac, you get frustrated because they want you to get a Windows operating system. Um, the thing is, Excel is pretty much an industry standard, and while there's a movement to going to Google Sheets, which again is now a third competitor in the market, um, Google Sheets doesn't have quite as much uh, muscle, abilities, functionality that we have with Excel. So obviously, Google Sheets is a copy of Excel and tries to mirror a lot of the functionality. So while Google Sheets is good, we're going to do Excel on your laptop, not on a browser, not with Google Sheets. That will really mess you up when it comes to some of the stuff we're going to be doing. So with that being said, I wanted to also let you know that we are going to be using the online platform by McGraw-Hill called Connect. And I want to share that with you so you can see what that looks like. So when you go on Connect, so actually let me just back up a second and make sure you're clear that when you're in Brightspace, if you go to the course information, there's a McGraw-Hill Connect tab. And if it's closed, you want to open it, go in there and click on the McGraw-Hill Connect. I believe you need to set this up initially. And what's really important about going through my Brightspace is it enables the most likely to succeed smooth transition of your grades over from Connect over to Brightspace. But I do want you to monitor that through the semester because sometimes students don't see their grades coming over and I have to go in and kind of figure out what happened. But the easiest or most likely to succeed way is if you connect through Brightspace. So if you go into like the very first thing I'd like you to do, actually, let me go back there, is to read through, if you would like to, you can skip this part. There's no grade for this at all, but it's the Connect orientation videos or the SmartBook student orientation. So as you go through this, you'll see that I believe it will connect for me. Let's see, hopefully, I think I might have to launch it. Okay, and yeah, it's going right to the video and it's not giving me the option to do it in student view. So let me switch over to the student view. So it looks the way it'll look for you. Okay, so this is the student view. This is how it should look when you jump on Connect. I know many of you have worked with Connect, so hopefully there's no big surprises here. There's the e-text that we're going to be doing readings, and Connect provides something called a smart book. And what a smart book does is it takes you through the book and interactively is asking you questions and is designed so that if there's something that you need to like think about more, delve in more, you're not answering the questions right, it will adjust to that and give you more questions. But if you understand the concepts, it should take you through quicker. So that's where you see the smart book chapter 1, Introduction to Business Analytics. And you'll know it's a smart book reading because that's over here. When you go through my syllabus, you'll see this is one of the required homework assignments. And then there's a chapter 2. So far I have everything set up for exam 1 in here. When you go through the syllabus, you'll see that I also am not going to be grading the Connect homework questions, but the exam questions that come from Connect will be very similar. So I highly recommend you go in here and master the skills. And I recommend you do this almost, I recommend you work on our class daily. kind of alternating between the Excel work and the concept questions. And so this will take you back and forth. There are two sets of questions initially for the exam one material. One is the chapter one questions, which are more conceptual. And then there's sort of like a review prep work with math and Excel, which again, you may already feel very comfortable with it. I know everybody's sort of in a different place with that. Okay, so I wanted to go through one of what this looks like. So if I open up the questions, it'll look a little bit like this. And so when you get a question, there are several things besides just, of course, reading it, looking through it. You can click on the ebook, and over here, it'll take you to the area of the ebook where this type of question was discussed, or the concept was discussed. You can also look at a hint, and a hint is usually a little short video to walk you through another example problem. One thing you can do too is you can print the question. If you're having a lot of trouble on this kind of question, you can print it, and you may say, I don't have a printer, and that's fine because when you click the print button, you can choose the destination, and one of the options will say save as a PDF. So you can save the PDF file to your laptop, and that actually, excuse me, that actually brings up an important concept topic, which is that I would like you to create a folder in your laptop for our course so that your things don't get all mixed up where they are. And especially if you're in a Mac, I find that files sometimes get mysteriously placed somewhere on the Mac. And students sometimes have trouble finding it, especially in an exam. So I highly recommend you create a folder in your Mac or your laptop, whatever operating system you're working with. That's for our class. And that's a place where you could say like exam one questions, and you make a subfolder and then start saving any questions that you would like to keep track of, if you will. Okay, so let me cancel, let me go back here. I'm going to, oh, and then there's references, which sort of just tells you where in the book this all comes from. So that might be the quicker way. Now, suppose you go through and you read this question and you believe that the answers are as follows. You can check your work, and it will tell you which one you got right and which one you got wrong. Obviously, I'm not grading this, so there's no benefit really in just going back and clicking the other one. You want to really understand why you got it wrong and clarify the concept. So you can return to that question and maybe read the ebook on the topic, or just, sometimes if you see, you get that feedback, you kind of start figuring out the concept a little more deeply. So anyway, go through that. There's a grid down here that you can switch around your different problems if you'd like. And then once you're done, you can submit the whole thing and kind of record to yourself if you have mastery or how you're doing. Okay. So I think that's everything I wanted to go over. I wanted to tell you that I know that this course is considered challenging by a lot of students, but I want to tell you that if you commit to learning the Excel and working through the class project and doing the work here that we have on Connect, that you can do this. You are able, you're capable. The concepts in the course are everything that you saw in BAI 210 will be repeated. It's just going to now be actually used in a client setting. I think the more challenging area, and actually is the area that we as professors get feedback from alumni is the most important, is how do you take this business question and turn it into a question that we can answer with data? So that's going to be a part we're going to spend some time thinking about how to do that. And then the big new topic is linear regression. And that's extremely powerful for everything you're going to do in business, whether you're an entrepreneur or work for a large corporation. So this, that will be an area that will be new, but it's not necessarily conceptually too hard. It's definitely easier than hypothesis testing. So we're going to get there. You can do this. You just need to really take it serious. You know, this is a course where you want to commit your time. You don't want to take it when you're extremely busy. And I want to talk a little bit about attendance real quick before that's the last topic I want to make sure that we cover. I'm going to let you have 3 free passes, and I recommend you don't use them unless you have to. But we know life happens and things get in the way. So um, I'm going to give you those without any, their excuse and any points on Top Hat. So when we do Top Hat, my lectures will be on PowerPoint and they'll be interspersed with questions. Those questions will have usually a combination of a correctness and a participation grade. Uh, so I recommend you prepare, read ahead, come to class. So it's not the first time you saw the material, but as we go through it, the questions are designed to be very easy and directly related to the lecture. So if you have an excused absence, whether it's one of the 3 free passes or something else, those any questions from that day you'll be excused from. You won't get zeros on them. And in addition, on Top Hat, I'm going to be dropping the lowest 10%. So let's say over the course of the semester, I asked 100 questions, the lowest 10% would get dropped. And then your average would be calculated from what's remaining. I highly recommend you don't use one of these passes for silly things because things happen, trust me. But if you have an excused absence and it's not just one of these free excuses, you you definitely want to document it. Either way, you want to document. So let's look at Brightspace and let me go over how I want you to do that because I don't want you to email me unless it's urgent that you're going to miss an exam. That's a whole different situation. But in general, you should be letting me know way ahead of time if you have a conflict. But if you have an excuse absence, we're going to document it in 2 places. So let's go over to Brightspace. In our homepage on the Assignments tab, if you go in here and you click on this procedure for documenting the excused absence, and by the way, it says, and for getting class notes. So even if you have an unexcused absence, if there's anything I hand out during the day, you can log your absence there and make sure you get anything that might go out that day. I'm going to be sending information out to everyone who's got their email in there. And so when you open this up, this will talk you through what you need to do. You're going to need to add your documentation here. So here's where you add a file, and you can, this is where you put a doctor's note, or if you have a funeral, you can put the obituary document, whatever you have going on. If it's one of your free passes, you need to maybe just write on a piece of paper a free pass and take a picture of it or something. But in the comments, if you don't mind letting me know that it's an excused, which one it is, like your free pass excuse number 1, just to makes it a little easier for me to keep track on my end. You can also record an audio as your submission. So you would hit record audio and you can hit new recording and just say, what's going on. Okay. So that's where you would do that. The most important second step, though, is that you click on this link here, which is the excused absence report. And when we go in here, you'll have a Google Sheet. And in the Google Sheet, I have an example here. But what I want you to do is click on the 4 on the left and add a row. So we're going to insert 1 row above. And then here's where you would put your name. and then your email. And then the section you're in. So maybe you're in section 2, and the dates you're going to be absent. So let's say I know I'm going to be absent on the 15th of September. Now, the really important thing that you need to do is come over to the 15th of September and put your email here. And the reason for that is I'm going to come in and I'm going to say, okay, what did I hand out on the 15th of this September? And I'm going to just select all these emails here, whoever they are, and those are the people I'm sending stuff to. Okay, so that's how the procedure for documenting your absence would proceed. Okay, I hope that you will enjoy going on the Top Hat syllabus. Everyone needs to read it. I always tell my students the syllabus is a contract per se. It is somewhat considered a legally binding contract, and even though it's a loose in many ways, no one's signing it, but it is a contract between myself and you as a student, and it is intended to protect you and protect me. So contracts, for those of you who go into business law, you're going to learn all about this, but are very important because they enable the most successful and positive relationships uh, in a business setting. So you're basically there. You need to read through it. You need to understand um, what's in our agreement for how the course is going to be set up, how it's going to be graded, everything that's involved there. And I tried to make it a little interactive for you so that you're, as you go through this material, you kind of like understand it and kind of get through it. So I look forward to meeting you very soon, and I hope you have a great last few days of your summer break. Take care.